Today, we're going to dig into a totally different way of looking at wealth, one that goes way beyond simple affirmations.
I mean, this is the question, isn't it? It's the absolute heart of the entire self-help world. We hear it everywhere. Visualize your success, and that success will just appear. But does that promise actually hold up when the rubber meets the road?
And the answer, maybe shockingly, is no. And, this is exactly why so many people get frustrated and just give up. They're doing everything they've been told to do, but the results, they just aren't there. So, what is really going on here? To really get this, we have to look past all the good intentions and get right to the core of the problem. And honestly, the truth might be a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, let's use a kind of surprising analogy here. We all know you shouldn't drink and drive, right? It's a no-brainer. And yet, if you look at the stats, most major car accidents actually involve sober drivers. Now, of course, this does not mean being sober is dangerous. What it shows us is a hidden truth. Just following the most obvious rules, like think positive, doesn't automatically guarantee you a good outcome. There are other, much more powerful forces at play. And this is that feeling, that disconnect that it creates. It's this sense of cosmic injustice. You're doing everything right, you're working your tail off, you're thinking all the positive thoughts, but the promotion, the money, the success, it's all going to someone else. It feels like all your effort is just vanishing into thin air. So, if positive thinking by itself isn't the magic key, then what is? Well, the truly wealthy aren't just working harder or thinking happier thoughts, they get something else. They understand leverage. They know how to press a kind of cosmic button. Think about it like this. The old way of doing things, of creating massive value, was through massive, back-breaking labor. 1,000 people doing 1,000 hours of work. But today, one person can press one button that activates thousands of automated machines. See, the secret to wealth isn't about working harder yourself. It's about finding the right button to press. And that button, it connects you to what you could call cosmic wealth. So, for a minute, forget about wealth just being money. Picture it as a kind of universal energy grid, like free electricity. You don't have to create the power yourself. You just need to learn how to plug into it to power everything. Your home, your car, even your biggest dreams. So the big question is, why can't most people find the plug? Well, the reason the universe isn't responding is probably because you're broadcasting on two completely different radio frequencies at the same time. And all that creates is static.
See, on one frequency, you've got your conscious mind. That's the voice you hear in your head. The one setting goals, repeating affirmations, saying all the right things like, I'm going to be a millionaire.
But then there's the other much more powerful frequency, your subconscious mind. Think of it like an inner bell that's just constantly ringing with what you truly believe, deep down. And a lot of the time, it's saying something like, a millionaire? You? Come on, who are you to deserve that? And here it is, the most crucial part of this whole thing. The universe doesn't really care about the polite words coming from your conscious mind. It responds to the powerful, emotional broadcasts coming from your subconscious. It doesn't hear your words, it feels your core vibration. And if that vibration is screaming doubt, guess what you're going to attract? More reasons to doubt. This whole idea of a small plate versus a big plate just illustrates it perfectly. Most of us go up to the universe with this tiny little plate, asking for just enough to cover the rent, just enough for the bills. And you know what? The universe gives us exactly that. If you want more, you have to show up with a bigger plate. You've got to expand your inner vision so it's actually big enough to hold the life you say you want. Okay, so this all sounds good in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you change that inner frequency and finally press that cosmic button? Well, it really boils down to 4 key mental shifts. First, you have to expand your vision. Seriously, stop asking for just enough to get by and dare to want way, way more. Second, you have to act from a place of fullness, not a place of lack. Think about it. A truly healthy person isn't obsessed with their health all day. They just are healthy. You have to embody that feeling of being wealthy and content right now. Third, and this one is huge, silence the casual complaints. When you say, ugh, my life is ruined because of some small setback, your subconscious hears that and it starts to make it true. And finally, you have to trust. The most successful people rarely know exactly how it's all going to happen. They just have this deep, unwavering faith that it will.
Now, when you really start to practice these steps, something truly fascinating begins to happen. The very goal you were chasing, it starts to change. And here's the ultimate paradox. Once you actually align your inner world and your outer world, that frantic desire to just pile up money, it starts to feel like a pretty small game. It loses its grip on you because you've tapped into the real source of abundance.
And that, right there, is the final secret. The real goal was never about the money. It was always about creating an inner state of joy, of peace, and fulfillment. Once you get that right, wealth is no longer something you have to chase. It just becomes a natural, almost effortless side effect of the person you've become. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Are you out there chasing wealth, or are you building a wealthy life? Because the difference between those two, Well, it's everything.